Hello there. This is how we set up Ableton each week with the live set. The first thing we need to do is we need to look in Planning Center and see what our set is. And we need to make sure each of these songs is downloaded locally from OneDrive. So we're going to go to the Worship Documents folder on SharePoint, go to Click Tracks, and then go to Songs. And you're going to find each of these songs and right-click on them and click Always Keep on this device. So I have already done that for these songs for this week. So let's look at what's next. We're going to open the live set template, which is this right here. In Ableton, if you go to your locations over here, under Places, Click Tracks, you'll see these folders all in here. So we're going to go to Live Set Template Project and open Live Set Template. Now, I want to show you some things in here, how this is set up. So first thing is you have the tempo track here. This will have clips in it that are set to control the tempo of all the other songs. You'll see that if you go through the tutorial on how to set up a new song, how that works. Then under click, that's where all the click sounds will go. And then you have the guide, and that's the track that says chorus, verse, all that kind of stuff. Then you have the MP3, where the MP3 reference track will go. And then you have pads. This is where we can put these guys if you go under the pads folder. Typically, the common one we use is warm pads. These warm church front pads are kind of the generic, good sounding one when we do a pad loop. That's the track that'll go on. Then you have loop cues. This is where we stick our MIDI cues. If you look under the MIDI folder here, we'll go into that. But basically, these are MIDI cues that tell Ableton to go back to the previous locator. This is a locator. This is a locator. This is a locator. If you right-click here, insert or add locator, it will add one of these markers, and you can label it. And so we have this locator here labeled loop. And when we put this loop cue in here, it just tells Ableton go to the most recent locator that you passed, and it'll go back to that one after a measure. Then we have the metronome stop cues track. This is where we put cues in here to turn this metronome on and off, and to tell Ableton to stop playback. And those work the same way. Then we have our backup tracks. If we have a musician out, we're going to throw tracks from the songs in here that can serve as a backup. And we can route those into the soundboard as if that player was actually there. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you, if you click on the MIDI button here, this will show all our MIDI mappings. These are the notes that when Ableton receives these notes via MIDI, it will trigger these actions, and it receives these from the iPad that the drummer uses. And so you see one here for start, and you see one for stop. So the iPad is set up to fire those notes into Ableton via the network, and that causes Ableton to be controllable from the iPad. And then these are the different locators in the song. So we need to go to song 1, it'll go to locator 1. We hit 2, it goes to locator 2. And that's how we're able to go from song to skip around from song to song. So that is the MIDI setup. And down here is the area for clips. If you go through the song setup tutorial, new song setup tutorial, you'll see the clips there used. But just remember, this triangle button closes and opens that panel. This triangle button closes and opens this bottom panel, and you might need that sometimes. All right, so let's bring our first song in. We're going to go to the songs folder. There's Nothing That Our God Can't Do, and we are doing it in the key of G. So what you're going to do is you're going to find There's Nothing That Our God Can't Do. You're going to hold down the command button and drag it down here into this area that says drop files and devices here. And that's going to put all the tracks from that song into our project. Oh, before we do that, let's undo. Sorry. Most important thing, as soon as you open the live set template, before you do anything else, file, save live set as, and do the date. So 04302023. and we're going to go up a level. So just here in click tracks is where it's going to go. So we're going to save. All right, and now you'll see that that has created this folder 04/30/2023 project. And this is where it'll save all of the information for this project. So we're going to do There's Nothing That Our God Can't Do in the key of G. Hold down Command, drag it into that area, and there we go. Now, we're going to select all these clips. So I'm going to use terminology here. These are clips. These are tracks. Know the distinction. Clips are the actual audio clips of audio. Tracks are the tracks that those clips reside in. So we're going to select the clips. We're going to Command X to cut. And we're going to go to Locator 2, which is where this song will begin. Click on that first track, tempo, right there at Locator 2, and we're going to Command V to paste. Then we're going to take tempo, click, guide, There's Nothing That Our God Can't Do, the MP3, hold Shift to select all those, and then we're going to drag them up to the top here into those tracks. So now tempo is in tempo, click is in click, guide is in guide, etc. Then we're going to select the tracks, not the clips, the tracks of all these. Hold Shift to do that. Right click, group tracks, and then we're going to rename. And you can do keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to do Command R to rename that, and we'll just shorthand this. There's nothing. So now those are grouped, so we can collapse those if we want to. We never use the vocal tracks in these set lists, and so we're just going to delete BGVs and choir. But we like having them in the original so that we can export them for reference. Okay, so now we want to fill in our backup tracks here. So we're going to put drums into drums, put bass into bass, acoustic guitar. We're going to put that under acoustic 2 because that's our secondary acoustic track, and it's nice to have to mix in if we want it. And then electric guitars, we need to listen a little bit to these to see what's lead and what's rhythm. So let's listen to these a little bit. Okay, that's sounding kind of more like rhythm, but let's listen to the other ones. Okay, so there's a number of things in this, but honestly, they're things that probably neither of our electric players are going to play, so it's almost like a synth or something. So we're going to leave that one alone. Let's listen to this one. Well, kind of hard to tell on this song. Let's listen back here. Okay, this is definitely our rhythm guitar part, so we're going to put that into rhythm guitar. And honestly, let's put this into lead guitar, those kind of effect sounds, because I would bet whoever plays lead will do some of that stuff. And then, yeah, we'll just leave that alone. And then piano is what we're going to put into piano. All right. Now we want to delete all these empty tracks. So we'll select them, and just hit delete, 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 delete. Drums, delete, 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 delete. And this is just to help keep things compact and organized. Okay, very good. Now, let's do this actually so that we're not having to massively move our markers. We're going to pull this back some. Whoops. We need to make sure and select everything. If you're going to move an entire song, you need to make sure and select all the tracks. Okay. Now let's just kind of, yeah, that's good. Just so we're not having to move 3 a lot and then 4 a lot and 5 a lot. In fact, these are weirdly close together. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, Okay, so that song is there. Now we want to do the instrumental intro for this, which is typically going to be like the last chorus. So let's listen to our guide. Hold on a second. And let's go about here. Let's look at
Chorus 2, all in.
Okay, we'll do that part. So what we want to do is the cue for that starts one measure before it. We want a 2 measure count off, so we're going to go 1 measure before that cue starts there. And we're just going to select everything from here forward and on down. Okay, and we're going to copy that. Then we're going to go back to the very beginning of the project. So click up here, top track, and we're going to Command V to paste. Now, we want to get a 1, 2, chorus, all in. And so we're going to go to our guide folder here. And we're going to put in our 1 and our 2. Actually, let's make sure we're not stepping on our toes there. Okay, there we go. So now we should get
1, 2, chorus 2, all in.
Okay. Now we're going to use some judgment in determining what we want to happen during that count off, because the band will all come in right there. But so we got our drum backup track. Let's have him start there. So we get a
chorus 2, all in.
Okay, and then we'll have the rest of these tracks wait until that. So we can select all those. So those will come in right on the downbeat. Percussion, yeah, we want that to wait. Loop, yeah, want that to wait. But these things, we might have them fade in. So what we can do is kind of click here in the middle, drag to select that area. Okay, all 4 of those tracks. Right click in that area, create fade in. So let's see what this sounds like.
1, 2, chorus 2, all in.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. That's good for an instrumental intro. So now what we want to do is we want to add some MIDI cues to shore this up. So we're going to open our MIDI cues folder. We're going to put a metronome cue right here at the beginning. And I actually like to delay the metronome cue just a little bit, because I have had an experience where if you put it right where you're starting, it can miss it, because MIDI can be finicky like that. So we'll drop that there. That will turn the metronome on. So you'll be able to see that if I start playing back at the beginning again.
1, 2, chorus 2, all.
So that's good. But then we want the metronome to turn off as soon as the click stops, and that's right here. You can see the click stops after that. So drop our MIDI cue again. It's the same cue. It's a toggle on or off. Okay, so then you see the metronome stopped. So that's good. All right, then we're gonna have our loop locator back here, close to the end of that song. We're gonna drop our pad in there. This is in the key of G, so we're gonna drop our G pad right there onto the pads track. Have it start right there where the click stops. And let's see what that sounds like. And I actually like to drop the pad an octave, so that's -12. Kind of give it a darker, warmer feel, a little less in your face. Okay, so we'll let that pad, we'll continue on, but if things go long, we want it to loop, and so we need to throw a loop cue in here. So we'll go to our MIDI cues and make sure it's on the loop track there. So what it does is it makes it, when it hits that loop cue, one measure later, it will go back to the previous locator. So you want to put it 2 measures before the start of the next song. So you'll see here, okay, loop cue is hit, and then boom, we're back to that loop locator. Okay, so that's good. And then we want the loop to end when the band comes in. So we got the count off here. So just select a little bit after that, delete it, and then you can delete the rest of the clip. So, and then we need our metronome to start again at the beginning of that song. So metronome, boom. All right, so now whenever the drummer hits 2, it'll go
1, 2, intro, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. Okay, so now we can collapse this song since it is done. There's nothing. All right, now the next song is Great Are You Lord, or I'm sorry, King of My Heart, and it's also in G. So we're going to go Songs, King of My Heart, in G. So right there. Again, we're going to hold Command, drag it in to that area. Then we're going to select all those clips, Command X to cut. We're going to go, let's see. So this ends. And then we want a smooth transition, but not too much space. And so typically what I'll do is I'll give it 1 measure of breathing room after the downbeat ends. Whoops. So we'll put our 3 marker there, 1 measure at the end. And we're going to go here back to our first track that we just dragged in, Command V to paste. Then we're going to select those 4, go up here. Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, good. Okay, so now I want to blend these backup tracks. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the first 2 measures off of all of them. Drums, bass, EG1, EG2, and piano. So drag our drums up there, drag our bass up there, and then let's go ahead and do piano. And then let's figure out, we can go ahead and delete the BGVs there. Oh, and let's group our tracks like we know what we're doing. Command R, King of My Heart, and then we can go ahead and delete those. Okay. Yeah, let's listen to the electrics here and see what's lead and what's rhythm. Solo that. Okay, that sounds like it might be lead. Let's check this one. Yeah, so I think this is more like lead, and this is more rhythm. Okay, and then we can delete the other tracks. Okay, and then what you want to do is go ahead and fade these tracks together. So you can select those first 2 measures during the count off, right click, create crossfade. Okay, there we go. So let's listen to our transition.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, very good. This guide track is louder than the other one, so I'm going to bring its gain down.
1.
That's better. Okay, so King of My Heart is in there. Now, watch for time signature changes. King of My Heart doesn't have any, but we will get to that. So here's the end of King of My Heart.
Ending.
this song is a little slower, so I'm comfortable with not leaving any more breathing room after that. We can go ahead and start the count off immediately. So You Deserve It All is going to go there. And this is a new song, so I'm going to give him a chance to introduce it. So I'm going to add a locator here. And this is going to be another loop. You Deserve It All is going to be in C. So we'll add our C pad there. So pads, warm C. And we'll have it start a little bit earlier, right about. Actually, it's a different key, so let it come in a little bit later. So, and again, I like to drop it an octave, -12. Okay, so since we're going into a loop there, we need to turn the metronome off again. So go to our MIDI cues, metronome off. So
Ending. Ending.
yeah, dang it. It's all right. Good. All right, so our metronome is off. Our loop is going. We'll give that a good, however many measures. We'll start the next song there, let's say. Okay, and then You Deserve It All, live in C. And, hold on, it's not working. We need to make sure we see this area, drop files and devices here. Okay, and it's at it always drops at the very beginning, so you have to go back. Command X to cut. Go to 5. Tempo. Command V to paste. Select those tracks. Drag them on up. There. Okay, and again, we'll have our pad stop at the end of the countdown. Or at the end of the count off. And you know what? This song is not in 4/4, I don't think.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
It's in 6/8. Okay. So we need to change our time signature. So what you're going to do is in the same area where your locators are, where you get this speaker, you're going to right click and insert time signature change right at the beginning of the song. You're going to do 6/8. And then we need to add our metronome cue again. So MIDI cues, metronome, right after that. So
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Very good. Okay. And then delete those. Minimize King of My Heart or collapse it. And then put our backup tracks where they go. Oh yeah, let's group. Group. Right click. You Deserve. Okay. Bass. We got 2 acoustic tracks here. So yeah, we'll do those in the appropriate spots. Acoustic 2. Very good. Oh, and we got an acoustic group. What's that sound like? Okay, we're going to mute that one. We'll leave it in, but we'll mute it for now. And let's figure out which guitar is which. This should be pretty easy. Yep, that's lead and rhythm. Easy. Lead. Whoops. Rhythm. And piano. All right. Delete. Very good.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, very good. We'll go to the end of the song here. Let's make sure that we're ending.
Breakdown. Ending.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure about the structure of this, but we're just going to go with it. This is just a tutorial, after all. Okay, so we're done with that one. We'll collapse it. Next one is Great Are You Lord. This one is also in 6/8, so we don't even have to change time signature. So songs, Great Are You Lord. Where is it at? There we go. Okay, and we're doing this one, I think, in G. Great Are You Lord, G, yes. Okay, Command, drag it in. And we need to go back to the beginning. Select all of them, Command X. And we need to put our locator where it needs to go. And we'll do one measure after the end of that click. So here at 608. Okay, click on your first track there, Command V to paste. And then we'll drag our stuff up there. Okay, and then, all right, looks like we should be okay on our crossfade here. So drums, bass, piano, no acoustic. Okay, so let's look at our guitars. Oh, don't forget group, drums, down to that. Command G, Command R. Great Are You Lord. All right, listen to our guitars. Let's start about here. Solo. Okay, so that's pretty much like a reverb, just a reverb effect. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's more of a rhythms guitar sound. Let's see what we got here. We're going to call that lead. So we'll put this into lead guitar. Whoops. Make sure it starts at the same time. And then this in rhythm guitar. Where did I put that just now? I don't know what I did. Let's try that again. E guitar 3 into lead guitar. EG2 into rhythm guitar. Okay, now we should be good. So delete those tracks. Okay, delete these tracks. Okay.
1, 2, intro. 4, 5, 6.
And okay, so something to note. This alto and BGVs are going to be people singing, but this BGV's FX is probably just like breathy voice sounds, which we can leave in. So we'll just delete those two, and let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, so we'll leave those in because that will add a nice effect. Yeah, I like those, so we'll leave them in. Okay, done with that one. We can collapse it. Now, this is not the last song. We got mixed up somewhere. We got 4 here, so we need to adjust our song number locators. This is number 4. And then Great Are You Lord is number 5. Come on, zoom in. Now that is the start of a measure, right? 608. Okay, good. Okay, and then we'll drag our number 6 out here somewhere. A little further. Oops. Okay, so now we need to put our metronome cue to end the metronome there. So MIDI cues, metronome where the click stops. And then we want the playback to stop after the tracks play out. So we'll put a stop cue, and that's on the same track. Okay, so now at the end of that set, metronome turns off.
Tag. Ending.
Okay, and you'll see the playback continues, fades out. And then once it gets to this stop cue, it will stop dead in its tracks. Tracks, get it. And boom. All right, cool. So now we just need to add the last song, which is In Christ Alone. Okay, this song I believe is in 3/4. So preemptively, we're going to go ahead and put our time signature change. Now this song has a bunch of time signature changes in it, so I will show you how that works. So In Christ Alone, in the key of F. All right. So this is where this W button comes in handy. If you just click W, it zooms out to the whole project. So Command into that space, got all that there. And I don't know why we got multiple tempo clips here. We're just gonna do that. Okay, select all those, cut, go to 6 and paste. Okay, drag those up. I may need to look at this and fix it up so it better matches the rest of our projects, because all these colors are different. This is weird. Okay, I bet you the guide is a different guide too, but that's okay. Bass, acoustic, again we'll put that on acoustic too. Piano, and then let's listen to our electrics. That's almost certainly a rhythm guitar. Yeah, okay, so electric 1 is going to go on rhythm, and electric 2 is going to go on lead. Okay, and then don't forget, let's group. Command G, Command R, In Christ Alone. Okay, our drums are broken up too. Yeah, I need to redo this. Okay, so then we'll delete. Let's delete our vocal tracks that we're not going to be using, alto, soprano, tenor. Okay, and then we're good. All right, so let's look at our time signature changes. Oh, let's add in our metronome cue. Here we go. Okay.
Intro, 2, 3.
Now I know that the time signature changes come at the end of the chorus, and you can see here this cue comes in on beat 3 rather than beat 1. So
Turnaround, 2, 3.
okay, so that little bit there, right before the interlude starts again. We have a 2/4 measure, and then it goes back to 3/4. So that makes sure that the accent of our metronome is on the correct beat. So if you listen to it,
turn around, 2, 3.
2, 3. So yeah, these are the things you got to watch out for. Okay, and we see it happens here again.
Turn around, 2, 3.
Okay. So time signature 2/4, 3/4. Okay. Continuing to look for those offsets. That's downbeat. That is not downbeat. So
Interlude, 2, 3.
okay. Same thing. This is a 2/4. 3/4. All right.
Interlude, 2, 3.
Okay, and that should be the last time that it does that, I think. Yeah, good. Okay, now we need to kill our metronome at the end. And then add our stop cue. All right. And we should be done. So let's collapse all this. Oh, delete those. Okay, can do that and that. Width, see our whole project. Okay, everything looks good. So we're gonna save. And then what you need to do to finalize this is go to File, Collect All, and Save. And what this does is it saves all of the audio tracks into the project folder. I don't think it did. Maybe it did. Well, maybe it did. Hold on. Collect All and Save saves all of your audio into the project folder so that it's not just referencing tracks from other folders, clips from other folders. Okay, yeah, it's uploading all that stuff now, which is good. I think. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so then all of the information of your project is saved into a single folder, and you'll just download that single folder onto the Ableton computer, as demonstrated in the tutorial video on how to open that and get it connected to the soundboard and all that stuff. All right, that's the end of this tutorial.